We did some analysis recently in which we showed that if the relative cheapness of value goes back to historic norms, value beats growth by 7,000 basis points, 70 percentage points. Pretty cool. If it goes back to the midpoint of the cheapest decile in history, right now it's at the cheapest level in history, no exceptions, including peak of the tech bubble. But if it goes from cheapest ever to merely up to 95th percentile, that's a 3,700 basis point gain over growth. When we look back in history and find and ask the question, when value gets unusually cheap, how well does it perform? The linkage is really powerful. When value's fully priced, historic norms for price to book are 5-to-1 ratio growth versus value. When it gets up to 4-to-1 or richer, that is to say value more than 25% the valuation of growth, it's a coin toss. Value sometimes wins, sometimes loses. When it gets below 20%, meaning bigger than a 5-to-1 ratio, value has never failed to beat growth over the next 5 years and has won 97% of the time over the next 3 years. And that's true in the US, international, and emerging markets. Now, when it gets, we're down to 10-to-1 ratio. Right now we're at a 12-to-1 ratio. When it gets down to a 10-to-1 ratio, on average, value beats growth by over 1,000 basis points per annum over the next 5 years. The actual experience is closer to 1,500 basis points a year. So when I look at that, does that give me a timing signal that you got to buy now because it's turning now? No, it does give me a valuation signal that you're going to regret, deeply regret, missing that train once it's left the station. So I look at the markets today and I think, I want to be a value investor. The election outcome doesn't make much of a difference. The Dems, I think, will be more friendly to social media because social media is more friendly to the Dems and Republicans less so. But if you have both parties thinking of revoking Section 230, which immunizes social media from litigation, from certain categories of litigation, well, that's actually a very interesting change that could take a big bite out of the valuation level of these companies. So who knows what the catalyst is going to be for the turn, but when the rubber band gets stretched this far, the chances of it stretching further diminish more and more, and the magnitude and speed of the snapback can be shocking. So bottom line is, I think that this is a better time to be a value investor than any other time in my career. Not on a past returns basis, on a future returns basis. I look back on the tech bubble and I thought I would never see valuations stretch the way they were there. We're back to that and then some.